Retro Hangover is supported via Patreon by listeners like you. We would especially like to thank patrons Lyle McCarnes, Tony G, Tom the Superhero, Studstill Smash the Milkman, Lucas from Game Over Hell, Mast Keaton, Ozzy Garcia, JC, Megan Caruso, Dave Jackson, Jenny E, Retro Overdrive, Soha, The Emperor, Storm Beagle, Matt aka Stormageddon, Van Fertile, and B. Ross from Super Garbage Day, Jared Brayland, Randall Quiggle, Raging Demon, Keith Gasper, The Retro Vixen, Eric Guess, Nomad from the Retro Wildlands Podcast, Ash Event, Alan Bingham, Mike the Ref from Backbreaker Gaming, Alt, Gary Heather, Low5 Alex, Oh Me, Makeshift Money, Segaboy7, Riskel, and Adam R. Your continued engagement and generous donations are deeply appreciated. Open your ears and crack some beers. You are listening to the latest episode of Retro Hangover. Retro and classic gamers, welcome to the podcast where we kill killers, killing clingers, clicking kings. This is Retro Hangover. I am your host, Chris Copleen, with special guests, Dre from the Fine Time podcast, and one angry Australian cunt, Backlog Adam.
Wow.
What?
I'm not angry at all.
Are you sure? I mean,
I'm a kick-ass kangaroo cock-sucking killer. Oh wait, that makes me sound angry.
You cock-sucking cunt.
Yeah. Cock-sunting killer cunt. Yeah.
Anytime I've sounded like I was angry on Fine Time, I actually was.
I believe that.
Yeah. I gotta let it out. You know, that's the type of show we are. We really let the emotions fly and then we hug afterwards. It's great.
And it is. That's why it's a great show to listen to, because the emotions are there and you can be very angry and people love angry.
Yeah, they do. They love when I get pissed off. I learned that a very long time ago. People love when something makes me mad. So I've learned to lean into that for the show.
Well, I'm just about good vibes and happiness. So, you know, you got me wrong.
It is a fine time, though, when I get mad for everyone else.
Fine time.
You know?
It is. Speaking of shows, thank you for being on here, Dre. It's been far too long for not having you here on the Retro Hangover podcast. I am so glad to have you. We talked about this off mic before. I thought this was the first time I've ever recorded with you, but that's not true. We have recorded together on Tales from the Backlog, and that was a fun episode.
Yes, it was.
So thank you for stopping by. It's awesome. Great to have you here.
And I'm not bullshitting. I listen to the show. You know, I listen to the show. I like Retro Hangover. So, I mean, I'm not gonna name names. Not every show I go on, I listen to. This one I listen to. Absolutely. So, you know, hey, excellent to be on here.
One of the few. I appreciate that. Adam's looking away from the camera now. Speaking of, welcome back to the show, Adam.
Being patient.
Oh, I didn't know whether or not to say Tales from the Backlog, but you were part of that, and it's back. It's good to have you back on this show. Not Tales from the Backlog. You're from The Good, the Bad, and the Backlog.
Excuse me, I have been on Tales from the Backlog.
You have been.
Yes, he has.
Twice, I think. Yeah, I'm a VIP, or I used to be, and then I had a falling out with Dave, and now we don't speak anymore. That's not true. I'm just trying to plant some hidden background lore that people will be like, "Ooh, I wonder what happened."
Ooh, sassy.
I was formerly of The Good, the Bad, and the Backlog, and you have dragged me out of retirement because that show is dead. But yeah, happy to be here. And I had a joke lined up, but now I can't remember what it is. So, woo.
I felt like you already told it, but I don't want to go into why I'm feeling that. So fuck you, Adam.
Maybe this is a good time to mention that to tie this all together, I have been on Tales from the Backlog to talk about Killer7.
Yes, you have.
So I am well versed in talking about this game.
See, Dave, look at all the free promotion you're getting right now. You need to up that Patreon, bro.
I know.
We're just dropping your podcast all over the place.
The lowest tier should be at least $22 a month, at least.
At least. By the way, I'll be on Tales from the Backlog at the end of this month for Dragon Quest V. So,
oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, probably still my favorite. One.
I think so. Yeah, mine as well.
11's teetering there. 5 is probably still my favorite.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So good. Adam, do you have any thoughts on Dragon Quest?
What's a Dragon Quest?
Okay.
He's not a Dragon Quester.
I've played 1 and 2, and then I was waiting for the HD 2D version of 3, but haven't got it yet. So I was trying to do it like sequentially. Oh, wait, no, I'm a liar. I played through 8. God, that was a good game.
8 is also fantastic.
Yeah.
It is really good.
I'm getting old.
I'm really hoping that Dragon Quest II HD 2D remake makes that game good for the first time in its life. So hopefully that can happen.
Fuck 2, man.
I won't be playing it.
Maybe this will be the first time ever, right? It's first time for anything, right?
At least 1's really good.
Yeah, it is. It's still good.
I love 1. I love 1.
I replayed 1 for the first time in a long time when I was on a Still Loading podcast with Josh. I want to say about a year and a half ago now. And it holds up completely. It is 100% still a really fun game.
Yes.
I've also been on Still Loading.
We're all going to talk about. I've been on Still Loading as well.
We are a bunch of sluts.
Listen to us.
We are slutting it up.
Name dropping all these things.
Is it a sexually podcast transmitted disorders that we need? Is that PTSD? Podcast transmitted sexual disorder?
Yes.
I think that might be
that
it.
is a new PTSD. Yeah.
That's
I don't know,
PTSD.
but you guys got my sloppy seconds, so enjoy.
Or we could just be sluts. I mean, that's fine too.
Also, I'm disappointed that
Red Bull and vodka.
Yeah.
Dre, are you a doctor? Because I keep wanting to call you Dr. Dre.
I'm not an official doctor, but I mean, you can call me one. I might get in trouble though. If you're not an official doctor, just don't put the PhD, you know?
What about a doctor of video games?
Yes.
I've always had a dream of being a freelance gynecologist, but I also don't want to go to jail.
Wow.
Ba-dum.
I am a freelance proctologist.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah. So if you need that prostate check, just let me know.
Congratulations on 3 years, by the way.
Who are you talking to?
You!
3 years of what?
Never mind.
I was there.
I'm too autistic for this.
I was there.
Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. Time flies. All right.
What happened in 3 years?
I don't know. I thought you were like in some long-term thing.
Oh, what? My relationship? Oh, that's 4 years.
Jesus Christ.
I was there.
I thought we were talking about podcast-related things.
You would. Well, yeah, we certainly were. A psychologist.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I love life.
So today we're talking about Killer7. That's the game of the day, the game du jour. But before we get into that, we like to talk about the games that we've been playing, and tradition goes that we let the guests talk first. Well, I am outnumbered today, so it's going to be a while before we get to me. By the way, I should address why Shane isn't here. He got in a terrible boating accident involving snakes. He had to wrestle a bunch of killer actual dragons while yetis were pounding on his back. He made it out. He is recovering. He will be here for the next show.
Okay.
And he's not an actual. Yeah. So
we understand. Hashtag prayers for Shane.
Yeah. Dicks up for Shane.
Dicks out for Shane.
Yes. Up and out. Both.
And in.
Adam, what have you been playing lately?
Oh, so glad you asked. I've been dabbling in the Oblivion remaster lately. I think I've probably dropped about 20 hours in that. That's been fun because I haven't played that game for a good 20 years or so. Or 15, I don't know, I can't count. But I've also been playing, I played and finished the Final Fantasy IV Pixel remaster. That was a real quick run through with the boosts on and stuff. Thoroughly enjoyed it. First time I ever finished it, so that's an achievement.
Oh, nice.
And I also got the Switch 2, so I've been playing a little bit of Mario Kart World. I'm not big on multiplayer games playing them like single player. So I did like a couple of sessions. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm done. And then I've also been playing the Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 version. I got kind of far in that.
Transformative.
Yes.
It's very good. Like, I'm really glad that I didn't play it originally on Switch 1. So I skipped it back then, and now playing this version, like, wow, this is really cool. But with just like Breath of the Wild, I'm put that one on hold for a while and would come back to it incrementally over the months. So I'm doing the same thing with Tears of the Kingdom so I don't burn myself out. Other than that, I'm also playing Nexomod Extinction as my little, occupy myself while the partner is playing Oblivion situation. So yeah, I enjoy it so far.
Sounds like you're having a good time.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I have an injury, so I can't work out at the moment, and I've just been filling my time with video games instead.
Well, I hope you recover from your injury soon, and I'm glad you're having a good gaming time, because I need you to get swole again. I need my buff daddy back on the internet.
I know. I need to go and investigate more prostates, and I need fitness to do that.
Yes.
Prostatigation. I'm sure we could turn prostate and investigation into one word.
Yeah.
You're not going to go prostatigation, are you?
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm a little rusty since I retired from my shows. Give me a break here.
That is perfect. That was absolutely perfect.
Just going to let the autism shine. It'll get me through.
We're bringing you back.
Drag me out of retirement for this chicken shit gig. Next.
All right, Trey, what have you been playing, bro?
I've been playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which is trash, and I love it because I love Dragon Ball. It's the ultimate anime game. It looks pretty. You press buttons, cool stuff happens. I was fighting Vegeta, and then it's like, and I lost a couple times really badly, and it's like, hey, you want to turn down the difficulty? And I'm like, yeah, I do want to turn that to difficulty. I just want to see cool stuff happen on the screen and Kamehameha. I don't want to think about this. Challenge, please. That's no fun. So yeah, I've been playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, even though it really isn't good. Don't buy it.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds. Look, if you like Dragon Ball, you'll like it. Again, it's anime game 101. If you like the property, you'll get a kick out of it. If not, stay far, far away. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, as I have since it launched, 6 months ago. I played Overwatch for like 8 years, and I finally gave it up last year, and I'm like, I cannot do Overwatch anymore. I just can't. It finally got to the point where I was like, I'm done. So I was looking between two things to fill that void: Conquered or Marvel Rivals. Well, one of them only existed for 2 weeks and then it was gone. So Marvel Rivals it is. And it's been really fun.
The world made a choice for you.
Yeah, the world made a choice for me. Honestly, even if Conquer still existed, it wouldn't have been Conquer, because honestly, that game was just Destiny PvP, which is fine, but that's not something I want to play long term. Marvel Rivals is the game for me. What else have I been doing? I also have Switch 2. I've played a ton of Mario Kart World. I've also been dabbling in the Tears of the Kingdom here and there. I did play the whole thing on Switch 1, Adam, so I've had that experience. However, I'm going to come back to this game for a few hours every week and just kind of go through it that way. I'm going to take that approach with it now, since I had the whole experience. I'm going to play 100 hours in 1 month, and I've done that already. I don't need to do it again. Other than that, yeah, I don't think there's anything, other than looking forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza here in a couple weeks as of this recording. Nice. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All sounds fun. I have Switch 2 envy, I guess. I do not have a Switch 2.
Oh, no.
I didn't try. I'm going to be real. I didn't try. The closest I'm getting to is I go to my military exchange because I don't want to pay tax. That's the big thing.
Yes.
They'll probably raise the price in the meantime before I finally find it. So it doesn't really matter, but that's why not. Hopefully I can find it. Then I can join in all the FOMO with all of you.
I hope so.
Yeah, and pay probably $650 by the time I find it. And
that's all.
Yeah, that's all. In the meantime, other than what I've been playing for this episode, Killer7, Still working on Persona 4. That episode was supposed to be out, but neither myself or Shane has sufficiently made progress in that game because it is super long.
Yeah,
I hate you, patrons. Thank you very much for bestowing upon us this amazing game that takes 100 hours. Fuckers.
Yep. It's a lot. What's next? Shin Megami Tensei 5, another 100 hours in your life? Like,
no, don't encourage that.
Sorry. But that game's an A+++. That's like one of my favorite games of the last like 10 years. So yeah, maybe you'll have a great time.
5 or 5V?
5. I'm working through 5V.
Really?
I think it's slightly less good because of some quality of life, quote unquote, stuff that kind of goes against the game design, but it's still really good.
That's like a hot take.
Yeah,
that's a super hot take.
I could go on about that forever, but yeah,
okay.
there's a lot of things that are built as quality of life that I think are just kind of ruin the game. But
okay,
whatever.
I do want to thank Argonaut Games because they provided me with a code to play Croc and the remaster, and I played it on stream recently. I'm going to try and play that as much as I can within the next couple weeks in conjunction with Persona 4 and, of course, the other games for the show, and try to get everyone a review for Croc out there, kind of as a special review. I'm going to try and get Randall, who's been on the show before, to do that because I know he loves Croc and we've been talking about it and try to get that all out there. But yeah, looking forward to talking about that.
I've never played Croc. I'm trying to think of even if I knew someone who had it on PS1 or something. I don't think I've ever played it.
This is the first time that I've ever played it. And I played the remaster, which is appropriate because I always tell people, happy Flat Fuck Friday. So I think it's apropos.
Yeah, well, Croc invented Flat Fuck Friday, of course.
You had to have. I don't know if that predates. I'm pretty sure it predates Skaters Daily. I'm not sure. The timeline, the chronology is a little off.
We'll have to look it up.
Yeah, later. Just links in the show notes that don't exist. But you can find them. I don't know. Never. All right. That's terrible. I'm going to move on to the brief history because we talk about a brief history as we are wont to do about this is a terrible segue, but I'm going to roll with this.
Just roll
Shane,
with it.
I don't have Shane here. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. So
it's fine.
Here's the brief history of Killer7. By the time that the GameCube launched in 2001, Nintendo had developed somewhat of a reputation. Long known by many as the video game company, it had become known as the gaming company for little kids. Thanks in no small part to the advertising campaigns going as far back as Sega with their Genesis, but further cemented with Sony's appeal to teenagers and young adults with the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. Gaming had gone more mainstream, and the kids that had grown up on the NES and SNES were now in that aforementioned age group. Games that were darker, grittier, and more violent were perceived as being more popular as they contained, quote, adult themes.
Adult.
Grand Theft Auto 3 being a huge success further drove that perception home for many, especially since the game did not see release on Nintendo's home console. Nintendo, believing they needed help in somewhat of an image rebranding, enlisted the help of an old friend of theirs in Capcom. Capcom was also keen to join in on the fun as they felt the industry needed new intellectual properties, as a lack of such was making the industry stagnant. Funny saying that, really. This partnership resulted in the announcement of games in 2002 referred to as the Capcom 5. 5 games that would be, or were at least planned to be, exclusive to the GameCube and be targeted to a more mature audience. And all handled in some capacity by Goof Troop and Resident Evil director Shinji Mikami. These games would be Resident Evil 4, Beautiful Joe, PN03, a canceled shooter called Dead Phoenix, appropriately, and today's game, Killer7. Killer 7 would be the first game led and directed by the up-and-coming Suda Goichi for Capcom, better known as Suda 5-1 of Grasshopper. Suda 5-1 focused most of his attention into developing the game's storytelling and overall aesthetic and atmosphere. The visual style would draw from various sources of the time, and while Japanese anime would be the obvious nod, it also included nods to Western animation as well as film noir. Even with this focus, Suda 5-1 would later state that 2/3 of the content that he intended to have in the game was cut in the story development. The gameplay, which would be unique to the shooter or action genre, was developed with the mindset that it would be relatively easy to progress through, with the development team actively avoiding a more complicated or combo-based approach to combat. While Suda 5-1 had wanted the game to release on July 7th, to have a date that aligned with his game's name, it ended up first being released in Japan on June 9th, 2005. All other regions received the game around the same time, with North America seeing it closest to that noted date on July 5th, and Europe receiving it on July 15th. And despite it being announced as a GameCube exclusive, that release date would also include the PS2. Reviews were mixed, with the GameCube version receiving a 74 in aggregate according to Metacritic, and the PS2 version receiving a 70. The criticism and praise from the professional review space mostly stemmed from the game's quirkiness. Whether that would be in terms of the gameplay, pacing, storytelling, or some mixture. The game didn't sell incredibly well either, but not horribly, moving approximately 250,000 units across both platforms. As the years went by, appreciation for Killer 7 slowly grew. Critical reception became more positive, with the 2018 PC release receiving the highest aggregate score of all versions with a 78. In 2013, IGN gave the PS2 version of the game, widely regarded as the inferior version, their ranking as the 94th best game for that console. There have also been talks of a sequel for a few years, but no fruition. References can be found in other Suda51 games, such as the No More Heroes franchise. And that is your brief history of Killer 7. So anything to talk about the brief history here? I know the two of you were chatting kind of about your recollection of the Capcom 5 and all of that insanity back in the day. What are your just kind of thoughts on the history of this game? I'll kick it over to Dre first.
Yeah, I distinctly remember the Capcom 5. That was one of the most exciting announcements. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a video game announcement before that felt that seismic, especially since, they're all going to be GameCube exclusives. None of them were except product number 3. And then It was so exciting because of what you just said, that stuff about the industry has become stagnant. We need to have some fresh blood, some new IPs, even though one of them was Resident Evil 4, even though Resident Evil 4 was obviously a lot different from the Resident Evils before it,
Right. Yeah.
Still, it was very exciting. And Killer 7, I gravitated to immediately. Just because it had that art style that I loved. It looked like, I always kind of make fun of people when they try to call comic books graphic novels, when it's bro, they're comic books. I don't know what to tell you, but you know what I mean? It had that kind of style. It was coming into vogue at that time. We were starting to have stuff like, Sin City or, stuff in that style that was mainstream, right? So it felt the right time for it. I was super excited. So yeah, it's not like I made 2 whole episodes on the Capcom 5 on Prime Time or anything, and nothing like that. Not a topic I'm obsessed with at all.
Oh, plug away, please.
See how I slipped that right in there. No, nice. But yeah, I was very much looking forward to Killer 7, and it met my expectations. It was exactly what I was hoping it would be.
Mm-hmm. Adam, what are your thoughts / I mean, we just went to personal experiences, and we'll keep it there. It saves me a segment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. That's perfect. That's a great way to roll this then. Adam, what's your thoughts here?
Pretty much exactly the same as Dr. Dre. It's going to keep happening.
Yes, please. Thank you.
He's going to chronically happen, I know.
Yeah. The same as the Doctor. I also was super excited about the Capcom 5 announcement because I was really into the Resident Evil remakes on GameCube, or the first one at least. So I was like, oh, sweet, Resident Evil 4 looks fucking awesome. And then like all these other games were coming out. I'm like, yes, mature stuff. Because I was 17 at the time. And I was getting a little bit fatigued with the whole, oh, you're a GameCube player, you're a kiddie, you know, you have a kiddie platform, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck you. So I was like, yeah, look at this, look at Killer7, look at this Piano 3, she's got tits and ass. And yeah, this is for mature audiences. Anyway, I loved all of these games, by the way. The only one that didn't interest me was Dead Phoenix, and funnily enough, that's the only one that got cancelled. So, whoops. All of them were great. Killer7 in particular really caught my eye because, like Dr. Dre said, it was roughly around the sort of time that Sin City was a thing, and I was really into that art style as well. So it like immediately grabbed me from a visual point of view, and I kind of just didn't read too much into what the gameplay actually was, but I think the tagline had something about like split personalities or whatever. And me being like an edgy teen, I was really into like psychological thrillers and movies where it dealt with split personalities and stuff like that. Unfortunately, looking back on it, I think most of those medium forms never really did that sort of storytelling trope justice. So started to get a bit cliche and stuff. Anyway, point is, love the look of it. I immediately bought it as soon as it came out, and yeah, we'll go into my experiences with that when we get into the other categories and stuff. But yeah, I loved it. It was formative, especially some of the music actually was really in line with what my taste was at the time, and also expanded my taste into other things. There's like one track that you don't even hear until the end of the game, and I would listen to that on repeat for days on end, and it kind of got me into like trip hop music, like Massive Attack and stuff like that. So it sort of pushed my taste in music in a specific direction, even though that one track is quite different from all the other ones, but I really loved that one. Anyway, that's probably the gist of it.
Yeah, it's an eclectic soundtrack, that's for sure.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's great.
I can't wait to talk about Sound of Music later on. This is where I'm going to be. Normally, I save the better stories for last in this because I really don't have much to say at the time, other than the vibe that I was excited to see Nintendo engage in more, you know, quote unquote mature content. Because in 2002, I was 17, and you know when Wind Waker came out, I was part of the idiot brigade that thought it was kiddie and didn't deserve to be played and whatever. And I still don't like this. I still don't like Zelda games. So in my mind, I'm still right. So that held up.
You will always be correct.
Exactly. No one can ever correct me. I remember seeing these things. I'm like, hey, Nintendo's finally getting that firepower. See, it's not a kiddie system. And it has games that are just as violent and as brutal as Grand Theft Auto 3. But I think that was the mentality in a lot of ways that also handicapped Nintendo in so many ways, and a lot of the video game industry looking back at it, because I think they took away from that gamers just wanted violent content without understanding why people really did like Grand Theft Auto 3. I think a lot of developers came away with the wrong lessons, and including Nintendo in this case, I think. Not to say that we'll get into this game on its own merits here, but I certainly think that's what it was carried away. But by 2005, I'd been in the Navy for 2 years. I don't even know if I had a TV in July of 2005. So I don't know. Like, I was in and out. I was like a nomad. It was a complicated living situation.
Right.
And if I did have a console, it was a PS2, and I probably wasn't looking for Killer7. I think the first game I had for my PS2 was Disgaea, of all games. So There you go. That was my gaming preference at the time. A pretty far cry from Killer7.
You don't want to play Killer7 on PS2 anyway, honestly.
No, you don't.
It's not good.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah. But not a big budget either. So like the used games, maybe it could have been obtained. I don't know. But I just didn't go for it back then. For this episode, I I actually targeted the GameCube version. So now I have a physical version of the GameCube version, and it's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, I was able to play through that one just because of what Dre just said. It's I don't know if it's the definitive version of all versions. I think that I've heard the PC version is probably that version, but I'm happy I got to play it on the GameCube because
I still recommend Steam just because it's 60 frames a second. Personally,
it makes sense.
I just, I don't know. I always think that's important to presentation for stuff like this. So obviously it doesn't help all the like pre-rendered cutscenes and stuff are still going to run at whatever resolution they originally were. But, there's not a whole lot you could do with it. I think like a few months ago, they tried to do some weird AI upscaling to it and it fucking sucked and everyone hated it. So they like quickly updated it so you don't have to look at it that way anymore. But yeah, it just looks how it looks.
AI upscaling being controversial? No,
no way.
No.
But it looked terrible. They should have just left it alone with its chunky original resolution.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Or actually put some effort into upscaling it. Like one of the two.
The Bat and Kaitos remasters are like AI upscaled, and I think they look really good. So it can work, but it did not work in Killer 7.
Are they hand-drawn animated in Bat and Kaitos?
They're pre-rendered backgrounds, and some of them are it's like Chrono Cross almost.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of that style of graphics. I think it's the same art director or whatever. So there's some crossover there. But yeah, it was a lot. So they had to work on it, and you can tell they worked on it. Killer 7, they didn't work on it, so they just reverted it.
Don't use Grok next time.
I'm still pissed that they got rid of the English voices for that game.
Oh god, yeah, they didn't even try for the remaster. They just threw them out. It's only Japanese because they were so bad in English. It's like forget about it.
I don't care how bad it is. I would prefer to listen to it that way.
They gave them new English voice actors, or they replaced them?
No, there is no English voice acting in the remaster whatsoever. It's only Japanese.
Oh, we're gonna have to get into that because I don't know if I agree with you. I don't know if I agree.
Yeah, it's gone in Bat and Kaitos because they were terrible. Yeah.
Oh, Bat and Kaitos. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
I thought we were still talking about Killer 7.
Yeah, it was Bat and Kaitos. Anyway,
just me derailing it
again. But yeah, I think that's all I got on that. Yeah,
good stuff. So we're building some of a primer here. I hope your appetite is whetted for some later discussions. That's with an H, not being a pervert.
I'm salivating.
But let's get into the plot. I actually have the manual. Actually have it, so I'm going to read the story from it. I'm not reading off a PDF this time, as I feel special.
I love doing this on Fine Time when we can, so I love that you're doing this right now.
Oh, yes. I totally knew it was a call out to your show. The funny thing is I do listen to your show, and I'm like, do you do that?
Yeah, occasionally we do. Very occasionally.
Yeah. Here we go. It's not told in an orthodox manner. I know, shocking for Killer 7 here. 1998. All international disputes resolved. That's why everyone thinks 1990 is the best year in terms of retro gaming, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently.
That's why. July 3rd marked the celebration of the birth of a global community that brought about true peace across the globe. Hey, by the way, listeners, we are recording this on July 3rd. There you go.
Wink, wink.
2000. The great powers began peacekeeping activities on a global scale under the banner of suppressing terrorism, completely shutting down all air transport and getting rid of every network terminal, all in the short span of 2 years. 2002. A network of intercontinental expressways opened, spanning the oceans and bridging the continents. 2003. An intercontinental delivery system was constructed on a massive scale. Nuclear energy was banned. All radioactive material was disposed of, and all intercontinental missiles were eliminated, removing all threats to peace from the world. Then there was a terrorist attack at the signing ceremony for the UN World Security Treaty. Terrorism in its truest sense, an act done to instill terror. And the world, yeah, that's a real line. And the world stood in silence at this new fear. So the great powers enlisted the help of the Killer 7 trademark, the only ones capable of wiping out the new threat known as the Heaven Smile. By the way, Killer 7 is trademarked in this manual.
Yes, it is a
trademark. Can't make that shit up. It's great. So that's the plot. Then it goes into the characters. That's the background that you're given. I wish the plot were really that straightforward, and even though that's not straightforward.
That does provide the backdrop for everything happening, though. It is an interesting base of like, okay, this is a weird divergent path. All like air travel was banned.
Yes.
I think there's no like airplanes or anything anymore, like for regular people anyway.
They built a train between the oceans.
Yeah,
that's how they get between places.
Just insane. By the way, remember back in the day when video games were not political in 2005, Chris? Jesus Christ. Now, not like nowadays.
They were political back then? I didn't hear anything political there.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. We did that bit too much on Tales of the Backlog. Games are not political, everybody, okay? Ever.
Never have been.
Yeah, but that's my shit. Like what you just said, I love that type of shit. I loved it then. I love it now. Will you give me a weird future, whether it's apocalyptic, whether it's like very authoritarian like this, whatever it is, I'm here for it. You will always get me with that.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's just one of those things, too. It's like, yeah, it's an authoritarian future, but it's painted as like you're in the presence of an authoritarian future, where it's painted very rosy, like everything's great. Mm-hmm. Everyone's happy. And like these people are disrupting the world order, and they are, for what it's worth. They are causing violence and doing terrible things. But at the same time, it's pretty much it's a world that you would not want to live in. Mm-hmm. You could almost guarantee that. So it's kind of like this really weird when you sit down and think about it, because now you do have my gears turning, and I don't like that. Maybe I do. I don't like the fact that I do like that. Yeah, it's like what is really the outcome and the desire that you would look at the situation you would want? Like who is the good guy here? Good question.
I love stuff like that. I love when you're either nebulous or not. Like most armored, not most, every Armored Core game is like, hey, these people are protesting their wages. Why don't you go kill them? Okay, that's my mission right now. Okay, shit. What? You know, I love stuff like that where it's like you are just a hired person. Yeah. You're not thinking about it. You're not making any moral judgments. You are hired to do this thing, and God damn it, you are going to do that thing, and that's it.
Yeah. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, I hate politics. I have this like black hole in my brain when anyone starts talking about politics or there is a political theme in a video game. I like listen to and read the information that's being delivered to me. It goes into the black hole and it just disappears. And then I go, oh, these characters are cool. I'm going to focus on that instead. So when this game came out, the story kind of went over my head, especially about the political stuff. And I was more focused on, oh, who are these mysterious assassins? What are these crazy terrorists that laugh all the time? Like, this is super cool. And then like all the political stuff just gone. I was more focused on like the world I was seeing in front of me and the characters I was playing as. And tell me more about them. Who are these people? Like, what's going on here? I didn't really care about, Japan and the US having some sort of war or whatever it is, and terrorism and 9/11 RIP. Any of that stuff, just like, whatever. Talk about the guy that says, you're fucked when he kills someone. I want to know about his story.
That's the coolest thing in the game, honestly. You're fucked. That's my impression.
Girl that had a stomach period. I want to know about her. She's got blood all over her dress. Tell me how that happened.
They do.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying is that's what I was focused on. I didn't care about any of the political stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, I have some things to kind of say on that later, but let's go into the overall kind of the like story arc here. Maybe Adam, I hope there's not too much of a black hole for you.
Are we doing spoilers, by the way, or is this
absolutely.
Spoiler?
We're spoiling the shit out of this.
Okay.
So, hey, if you don't want spoilers, flash forward. I don't know how many minutes because I'm not logging this.
Okay. Yeah,
you'll find out. So go ahead. Like, what's your thought of the overall plot progression, Dre? What did you think of how the way the story came out?
I loved it because it was told in a way that obviously it's very weird, right? Because like there's a lot of scenes in the game that seem like if they weren't there, then you wouldn't miss them. Like, there's several things. Like, you remember the two CEOs who are like a part of that company? It's part of one chapter, and it's like I think they're the boss of that one chapter, right? There's like several scenes where it's like, shoots him in the head, and then some snake comes out. Oh, we're not afraid to die. Just shoot us if you have the balls to do it. Like that type of shit. That's weird. There's a whole scene. Remember the poker scene where they're all sitting around playing poker and cards and all yelling at each other, saying stupid shit? The scene ends with them all like Russian roulette, like shooting each other in the head, and they're all dead. And the scene ends. And it's like, what the fuck was that? Right. So it's like you have a lot of scenes like that, but then you also have a lot of scenes where Garcia and Smith, the main characters, like advancing all this, like, well, I don't know if America's gonna, intercept those missiles from Japan. Maybe they will. Maybe we don't. Maybe if we do this, then maybe not. And he's meeting guys on like the side of the road. He's meeting them on tall bridges. He's
Truck
meeting
stops.
them in weird. Yeah. But so it's like, it seems like it's all over the place because it is. I think, how do I say this? Some of my favorite anime is like kind of vibes based. It's not really about like the straight progression from beginning to end of like telling the story. It's more about like you want to be in this world as much as possible and see as much weird shit as you can because you love being here. You're interested in this place and these people. And it's like, what crazy thing am I going to see next? And that's the thing that drove me forward in Killer7. So like I guess this is all to say, I've never in my head put together like a linear progress of events in Killer7 because it almost doesn't matter to me. I know everything that happens, right? I paid attention. It's just that like I never thought of it as like beginning, middle, end because it just doesn't feel like that kind of game on purpose.
It's almost like an anthology where like each chapter is something that's feels like it's disconnected from the other chapter and there's no like through line. And I actually really dug that because it was like kind of episodic. I was like, all right, who's the big boss of this chapter? It's like another episode of an anime. And, all of a sudden we're in a Japanese restaurant or whatever. And that was cool. And it kept me guessing about what was going to happen next. Because like I said, the political story wasn't really something that was drawing me in so much as I wanted to see how, more layers of the characters' backstories and stuff were unraveled as we go. And like what other strange, unusual things are going to happen. Like, why the fuck is there an angel girl here? Why am I shooting her angels? Why am I shooting her wings? And, like this chick with an anime headpiece that's skating around a car park. What's the deal with her? You do get to find out some of this stuff as it continues on because some of the things do connect. But early on in the game, it's like the whole chapter with Almeida. I'm like, this seems like it's I don't want to say filler episode because it's not filler. It's like it's probably one of my favorite chapters, but it feels so disconnected from everything else that's happening, but it was fantastic. It's like, this is like one of the best episodes of an anime that
it's incredible.
I have no idea. It doesn't have anything to do with anything else, but that's how it seemed to me. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is cool. This is like peak 90s anime.
There's so much going on. And actually when the episode with Almeida ended, which is like Cloudman, I think it's just called.
Yep.
That's when I messaged the group. It's like, oh man, this feels like Cowboy Bebop vibes. Because that chapter at the end, like that just felt like Cowboy Bebop, and I love that for that reason. But it did feel disconnected, and it feels like it's very smartly designed. But at the same time, it's like I have no idea what this means. And if you even go to some of the interviews with Suda Koichi, he's saying I left this intentionally ambiguous. Now, is that true or not? I don't know. It could just be a response to criticism. It could be his response to the fact that he wasn't able to get all the story out there as he intended to. As he has said before, like 2/3 of the story content was cut. And that was at behest of Shinji Mikami being like, hey, this is too long. You need to fix this.
He co-wrote the game with Suda. Yeah.
So whatever it means is whatever it means. But like there are things that happen, like the story with Curtis, the white-haired assassin. Like that's a brutal story.
Oh yeah, that is
incredibly brutal.
That is some wild shit.
Yeah, that's out of this fucking world. That's probably the most brutal story out of all of them. But like if you look at all the other stories, Almeida's the most unique because Almeida's also the story where you don't pick up any soul bullets in order to go fight him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things about this game. It seems like it's structured in such a smart way, and it's very cognizant of everything it's attempting to do.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the game, you understand what those soul bullets are for one particular chapter, but you're not thinking about that through the rest of the game. So how do they apply to the rest of the game?
Yeah. There's
a lot of layers. There are layers upon layers upon layers. Do they mean anything? Maybe. Like, they may not. Like, a lot of... It got to a point where I felt like a lot of the political overtones were just kind of misleading an audience in a direction. I think there's an indicator of this at the end of the game where, Garcian, who, and we'll go over the characters here in a second, but Garcian, who is essentially the main protagonist, who
I would say so,
who you're playing as during this game, looks at one of the characters and says, "What is United States? What is the point of whatever?" Mm-hmm. And the guy looks at him and says, "I'm a Japanese. How the fuck would I know?"
Yep.
It's kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah, go.
Yeah, I really actually want to talk about that specifically, because I think that's one of the best things about the game, and the reason why it is the way it is and why it's so good is because it's clear that Suda51 and Shinji Mikami, for that matter, have a very innate understanding of America. And that's one of my favorite things in video games, is when you get to see America through the viewpoint of Japan.
Oh, so it's great.
This goes back to like even seeing like Western fantasy tropes in like old arcade games, whether it's Kadash or Magic Sword or whatever, like seeing like Taito or Capcom do those like tropes. It gave it a certain flair. You could even take this to like Marvel vs. Capcom, seeing that like Japanese flair to like Captain America or whatever. Killer7 is like, they know what's up. Like, okay, this Almeida chapter, right? The very first thing that happens when you get there, because you're obviously you're Garcian Smith whenever you go anywhere. It's like, ooh, we don't get too many black folk around here, like the shop owner says. And it's like, whoa, right? Because that's something you see from typically a game made in America. That's not something you usually hear from a game made in Japan. Right?
No, it's not. No,
well, they don't typically get many in Japan.
Yeah, they have this understanding of Texas or the South or whatever, right? So that's very interesting. So the fact that the whole game is like, is America going to let Japan explode or not? Is kind of, it's all makes sense, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's all fits thematically, even though it feels like it doesn't.
That's another good point, too. You have to think about how violent this game is. So like, this is, if you take like the violent, quote unquote, going back to the idea of being a mature video game for a mature audience, them thinking of what American audiences want to their extremes. So you have a lot of violence, you have a lot of sex. Now, these things are prevalent in anime at the time for the more mature audience of anime. Like, you can go back, you see a lot, like Devilman, for example.
Oh yeah,
is one, and that predates this game by quite a bit. So it's not like anime like viewed these things as taboo, but at the same time, if you're thinking like there is an American focus, the game is set in the United States. The ending is about how the Department of Education controls the United States elections, which
it's just wild.
Okay. It's just like, all right,
it's just crazy.
But like how uber violent the game is in and of itself, and how it tells that narrative storytelling, how everyone's just like a bunch of conspiracy theorists who don't trust the government at all, and everyone's just always doubting anything that happens. I mean, that's pretty much a story as long as I've been alive. If you pay attention to anything political, like everyone's always questioning everything and making a big bugaboo about anything that comes out of the government, right? So like they're taking this hyper American perspective. And I think they're applying it very, very well. This is like if Earthbound, you gave everyone an Earthbound, like twin pistols.
Yeah.
Or a revolver, right? This is what you got. Yeah, exactly. It's that in a sense. And I think, like, again, does it mean anything? I don't know. I don't like hearing that, because I did try to look up some analysis of it, and pretty much what I found is no one could.
Yeah.
But I will agree with the fact that to say this game is complete nonsense, beginning to end, is not true. But I also would not be surprised if it's there to kind of divert people's expectations and lead them astray in a lot of different ways, just so they come up with their own theory crafting.
It's almost like world building, though. Like the nonsensical stuff in each chapter just sort of expands more on what the world is and how everyone's living in there. I do want to add, though, like to the Americanization or Westernization style of this game, I still feel it's like very Japanese, especially in certain areas.
Yeah. 100%.
100%.
I love that this is sort of like a Japanese impression of Western society. Like with that whole Almeida chapter, like it's kind of very anime in one respect, but it also seemed to me that it was at least somewhat inspired by some of the animation you would find in like Aeon Flux, like if you've ever seen that.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially like when there's like geysers of blood and then blood raining down and sparkly bits and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is very like Aeon Flux. And I fucking loved it. It was so cool.
100%.
Along with the vibes.
Yeah.
That's actually something I cite a lot on Fine Time is talking about those old MTV animations, because anything that hits that is something I'm super into, whether it's like, what's the shiny game? MDK? You know, it hits that for me.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, Killer7 hits that for me. Like anything that gets into that like Aeon Flux or Liquid Television territory, I am super here for. That's something I have always loved, and just weird stuff like that. So yeah, and you're right. Also, it is very Japanese. Like, and also I feel like the game is almost as American focused as it is. It almost feels like it's making fun. Like you're talking about the Japanese schoolgirl boss, right? Or the girl with the angel wings, or the fucking Power Rangers are in this game, right? Like it's crazy, right? Like it's all over the place, but it almost seems like it's poking fun at that stuff in a way. The Japanese stuff, it's weird. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
it's very
like that South Park episode where is it the Japanese people where they're like, I have a very small penis.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like that type of shit, right? Like they're almost like they're aware of that stereotype, and then they're like putting, oh, you want some Japanese shit, motherfucker? Here are the Power Rangers, and here's your Japanese schoolgirl boss with a katana, right? Like it almost seems parody in a way. Yeah,
like look how wacky we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're also parodying themselves too, if you know anything about Japanese culture, because that whole entire like the Japanese schoolgirl thing, you could look at that as parodying themselves, like having the very Japanese schoolgirl face and like being super anime. Like that's their culture. They would know. And then you go and like the entire Power Ranger came out of the Sentai Rangers. And like you could say, is this making fun of the American interpretation of Power Rangers, or is this making fun of the Japanese interpretation of Power Rangers? Because like, depending on the source material, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
By the way,
it is definitely both. Yeah.
It is definitely both.
Yeah.
I think in that, you know, now that you bring that up, like from a cultural standpoint, it's something that is both making a perspective on Japanese culture and American culture, parodying it at the same simultaneously, and I think doing an absolute brilliant job of it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something about like the Japanese schoolgirl assassin thing. Something's stuck out to me about that. Like after you kill her, correct me if I'm wrong, but I played this like a month ago, but doesn't her like Japanese anime head come off and is like a normal looking girl underneath?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Something about that stuck out to me where it's kind of like, oh, you want an anime, but you know, anime is not realistic. Here you go. It's actually a real person just being a wacky girl.
I mean, that kind of ties into that story's arc, which is insidiously dark.
Yeah. But I don't know, something about that was just almost like rejecting the anime aesthetic or something. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to. You know.
While also embracing it, because that Power Ranger shit, like they spent like there's whole animations, like animations for that, like cutscenes and stuff. So it's like they went full on with it. So it's like it's a lot, man. And that's Killer7. That's Killer7. That's why I said at the beginning, for anyone who is listening to this that hasn't played this game, that's why I said it's not a beginning, middle, end thing. All these things we're talking about seem disconnected, but that's how the game really presents them to you. So it's like, that's just what it is.
every cutscene in that scenario, which is called Alter Ego, the Power Ranger one, every cutscene in that scenario is fully hand drawn, anime style. Every single one. Whereas like the other ones are a mix. They're real-time cutscenes and animation, but every single one in Alter Ego is hand animation. Like it was intentionally being like, this is the anime episode. Like we're just having fun now. Enjoy. It's so good. One thing I do want to ask you is there any meaning? Because I couldn't pick this up. If you interpreted it, this is what I want to ask, and I couldn't find it. So if you found something, I want to hear it. The hidden smiles. Are they like supposed to be some representation? Is this like some Nier shit where they're actually, I guess this is spoiling Nier. Sorry. It's like people at the end, because at the end of every chapter, it has this hidden smiles eliminated counter.
Heaven smiles?
Like it's supposed to build to something. Heaven smiles. I'm sorry. I'm saying hidden smiles. Yeah. Heaven smiles. Yeah.
I thought for a second that you were saying that there's a hidden character, like enemy in there that I completely missed.
No, yeah, don't worry.
No. I thought that the Heaven Smiles were people, but there were people that had been turned into these things through whatever cult-like supernatural thing is going on. Because they appear like people. It seemed to me that they always were people, but there's just something different about them where, I don't know, they have like, they're basically suicide bombers. So they just have like this bomb inside of them and they're crazy psychotic people. Because in the Almeida episode as well, like he talked about injecting himself with a bunch of different illnesses and diseases so he could overcome them and create vaccines for it. But he mentioned something about the Heaven Smile infection. He could never like overcome that one. So is it people that have been infected and turned into Heaven Smiles? That's kind of like how I interpreted that.
But also you have to remember, you're looking at the world from the perspective of someone who is also mentally insane.
Yeah, but he's got such fabulous hair.
He has no hair. He's bald.
He had such a fabulous wig.
Oh yeah, I guess he is, huh?
Yeah.
I guess. I never thought about it.
Oh no, I was talking about Almeida.
Oh, well, Almeida has fantastic hair.
Yeah.
You look how Iwasaru like pieces out. He's like, oh man, afros freak me out. I'm out of here. And you literally don't see him the whole chapter. I thought that was so weird. It's like, okay, I guess that's a thing. We can interpret that how we want, but
which character did that? I remember this.
Iwasaru.
I thought he came back in the who gave you tips for that chapter? No one?
I don't think anyone did.
Travis.
Yeah,
I think Travis did.
That's right.
Yeah.
So let's get into, that's a good segue into the characters here. Let's start out with the main Killer7. They have their own backgrounds. We don't have to dive deep into all of them because we would be here all day.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask, who's each of your favorites? Adam, who do you got?
Oh, I've got a couple. I loved Kevin Smith, the completely silent assassin guy with the knives, and he can turn invisible. He's really cool and fast, and he has got a very steady aim. I liked Kaeda, who is the chick with the bloodstain on her dress, only because she was the only female and I thought she was cute. And what's his name? Is it Con? Con has the double pistols?
Yes.
Con, yeah.
Yeah, I liked him as well because he's so fast and I thought that double pistols were super cool as a teen. I was like, yeah, I want to be like him, just shooting people up with two guns. And I realized that that's illegal. So.
I love his bratty fuck you whenever you hit the weak point.
Yeah.
Fuck you. He sounds like a kid cussing for the first time.
It does.
Oh, and I did really like Iwasaru, who is the kind of guide that, like we mentioned earlier, sort of guides you through levels and gives you hints and stuff and speaks basically in riddles a lot of the time. But he's dressed as if he is a gimp, like full S&M, BDSM, leather straps. He's even got a ball gag in his mouth, I'm pretty sure. And as a teen, that unlocked some very interesting things I brought into my adulthood. Not really. I'm just kidding.
I don't think you are.
No, I am. I didn't even realize that it was something sexual at the time.
I played this when I was 23 when this came out, so I was old enough to know what that shit was. I was like, yo, man, they are doing stuff in this game.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I didn't understand because I hadn't seen Pulp Fiction by that point, so I didn't know what it was.
Oh, okay. I think that taught a lot of people.
Yeah.
My favorite character, it's got to be Coyote Smith, right? For me, it has to be. Yeah. I love using him the most. I love using his weird power. I love the "you're fucked." I mean, that's like one of the best clips in video game history, as far as I'm concerned. When you hit the weak point, you're fucked. Just excellent. He can jump really high. I thought that was so goofy, right? You use him to jump up to stuff. That is weird. Also, what's his name? Luchador man.
Master Smith.
Yeah. He's great. I love I'm hoping I'm not jumping ahead too far here to like voice acting or whatever else, but like I love the voices of all these people too. Like in 2005, as we just talked about with Bat and Kaitos, good voice acting was not a guarantee still at this time. It just wasn't. So it's for anything coming over from Japan. So the fact that this had it, and I think this game has really effective and good voice acting for all the main 7 characters, for everybody really, but every character, even when you're just flipping through the TV and trying to pick them, which is a motif I love, by the way.
I'm not a monster, it's only a mask.
Yes, I love that. or when Katie is pissed and she's just like, shit, fuck it, or whatever. I'm just like, oh my god, what are these people?
So did she say something like, I got all dressed up and nobody noticed?
Yeah.
Men, they don't notice these sort of things.
But yeah, they obviously all have their uses, their own little special powers. But yeah, Coyote Smith for me. But really, Garcian Smith is such a cool cucumber. I love it. Obviously, he's like you said, the main character of sorts. But just all those cutscenes, he's just so hyper focused on the thing. God, I love that cutscene near the end where you're at the school, you're finding out like, you know, the department controls the elections or whatever. When he's playing Russian roulette with the dude, he just takes the gun, puts it to his head, click, slides it across the table, and the other guy's all freaking out. Oh my god, click, and whatever. Okay, oh my god, I'm safe. Slides it back to Garcian picks it up, click, whoosh, slides it back over in like 2 seconds, just smooth as hell. I love that dude. Just excellent.
Yeah, I think like when the characters get time to shine, I think all the Killer 7 are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Except when they're getting mowed down, then Coyote Smith and Dan Smith are the biggest badasses.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of playability, once one of the levels, when you go to the theme park, that's when I first fell in love with Con Smith. I don't think I deviated away from him the entire time, just because if I missed the weak point, well, I just unload on the motherfucker. And he doesn't. I know I'm kind of bleeding over into gameplay here, but like he takes forever to reload too. Like he has a ton of ammo. But in terms of like an actual character from the Killer 7 themselves, it's also between Coyote Smith and Masked Smith. I just wish Masked Smith, and we'll get into this gameplay too, could collect blood, because for the most part he can't.
No,
and that's what's his weakest characteristic is. Even at the end of the game, he doesn't have to reload it all and has an extremely powerful attack. That's besides the point.
Yeah,
he's
guns a-blazing.
Totally OP. Yeah, he's incredibly OP. But Coyote Smith is definitely the most fun character to play with in terms of like as a character themselves. Now, in the more story element, because we're still kind of here, I loved Samantha.
Oh, yes.
I think she's I think she's an understated character. At the end of the game, I was wondering if she was a manifestation of like a sex doll.
Oh,
just because of the way she's presented when she stops showing up. I like when she dies, if she was ever alive, because it's very complicated in terms of what she really is. Like, is she real?
Well,
it's so weird.
Yeah, it's like because she's ostensibly Harmon. I guess we haven't talked about Harmon. The man in the wheelchair kind of giving Garcian directions. As far as you know, that's his role.
The leader of the Killer 7.
The leader of the Killer 7. She appears to be his caretaker, but sometimes she's in there feeding him. Sometimes you go in the room and she's fucking him.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go in the room and she's slapping the shit out of him. So it's like, what is it? Like, what is going on here?
Fucking the paraplegic, by the way.
It's like, good for you. I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad you still got sensation there. However, what the fuck? Yeah. And then, like you said, when she appears to die, it seems like she has been sexually assaulted in the process.
The way her mouth is.
Yeah.
Like the way her face is portrayed. It was like she was never real at all.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like a sex doll that was just manifested into life, because you never see her outside that room.
No.
You see Harmon outside that room, but the only time you ever see Samantha is in that room, whether she's like a stone cold cunt, because like when she's in normal get up, like regular human outfit, regular person outfit, she's a bitch. But then when you turn off the lights, she's in a maid outfit.
Yeah. And that's also gameplay, too, because like you can't save in every room you go into. If she's wearing the maid outfit, you can save. If she's not wearing that, you can't save the game.
Exactly.
So it's like I've never really mentally delved into that too much. I kind of just, like a lot of things in this game, I kind of just took it for what it was. But yeah, also it's weird.
When the lights are on, Harmon is completely, I don't know what the correct term is. Invalid. I don't know. He's like, he's just gone.
Able-bodied, or
I don't know. I don't know what
it's like he's comatose almost. What's that word?
Yeah.
Where he's like completely mentally switched off.
Yeah. He's just like, he's not capable. He is like in need of assistance. He's not mentally capable of taking care of himself.
Yeah.
And as soon as the lights go off, he's a genius. In the Forbidden Room, he's a genius. When you summon him outside the room, he's a stone cold killer genius. But in the room where you save, he is completely incapable of taking care of himself when the lights are on till they come off. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's very
catatonic.
Weird.
That's the word I was thinking of. It's like he's catatonic.
There you go. Don't come after me. I'm just trying to find the right word. Or come after me. I don't care.
But along those lines, though, and this is something I'll ask both of you. I've never figured this out either. And maybe there's a simple reason I'm just not thinking of. When you go through places in this game, sometimes it catches the viewpoint of a surveillance camera and then you just turn into a certain character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you guys know why that happened? Like maybe they explained it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with like his power to switch into a different body was based on the television and or CCTV cameras or something like that. I think that's how it was set up.
Okay.
I can theorize and try to sound more intelligent than I am. Whereas Garcian is still in denial that he killed the Smiths.
Right.
Which is the entire purpose of the technically second to last chapter, but is presented as the last chapter. He is always in denial that he killed the Smiths, and he thinks he's part of a group called the Killer7. But whenever the camera goes on him, because he's in such denial, he always needs to manifest a different identity. So that's the representation of him switching over to another identity, because Garcian is not a killer in his own mind.
Right.
The rest of them are killers. Garcian isn't a killer. So
he's a cleaner.
When it's time to go out and be mercenary and actually kill people, Garcian's only responsibility is to clean things up. He's a cleaner. He only goes out there when one of his comrades dies. He's not the one killing people.
I love it. Go pick up the meat bag and just bring it back to the base. It's such a great mechanic. I love it.
And then a mini game of bringing him back to life with like 8-bit sounds and everything. It's just like, fuck.
What is this shit?
I love that the gameplay enforces that as well, because he's pretty much useless as a character to play in the level, especially since if he dies, it's an immediate game over. Whereas if the other Killer7 die, they just turn into a lunch bag full of meat, and then you play as Garshin to go pick it up and then bring him back from the dead.
Love it.
Yeah, but that's what I would say. Like it's the game's trying to tell you there's something amiss. And at the end of the game, it does tell you, but like that's what it's trying. Like, why is it always changing away from him? Why is this character so central? And why can you swap personalities? Well, you find out it's because he murdered everybody and absorbed their personalities and became them after they died, probably from his own manifestation of guilt and denial that he was actually this killer because he was tormented as a child to be an assassin.
What a great fucking level, by the way, the hotel where you get to see them kill. Oh, my God, where you get to basically kill the Killer7. Just excellent stuff. You get to see each one.
And they die in every single location where you pick up a soul bullet, which is great.
Yeah. And I didn't pick up on the soul bullet stuff until I played it again recently, like a year and a half ago. Like when I first played it, I didn't really understand that. But now, obviously, now I get it. Yeah.
And
Can
now
you explain it to me?
The soul bullets are where all of them died.
Just the Killer7, or
well, that's the thing. I need to play it again to figure out what the soul bullets mean in every level but Almeida's, because there's no soul bullets in that level.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to go back and try to figure that out if there is meaning, because again, like this was, I wouldn't say purposely or retroactively, who knows? But Suda 5.1 has come out and said that it's ambiguous and it's up to the player to determine what all these mean.
Mm-hmm.
He's not coming out and saying anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's bullshitting when he says like he has a lot of story left, because he's always said he wants to do a sequel, but it's Capcom's IP. It's not Grasshopper Manufacture's IP. So he can't actually just do that. I don't see why Capcom would have a problem with it. Like, get back in bed with Cap. I don't see why that would be, but I don't know. I'm sure logistics are there that we don't know about, but
yeah, it would also have to be
sales.
a sequel. It would have to be a sequel. Don't change this.
No,
like expound on it and you can explain more. But also remember, like, this was reined in, not by like Capcom, but it was reined in by Shinji Mikami. Like this wasn't corporate.
Rightfully so. I think this game is like the right length, if you ask me.
Yes. Yeah. It might be a little too long if you're actually asking.
It might be.
I think it's just right.
This is a good time to segue into the gameplay, because we've kind of bled over into that anyway. I'll kick this off by just describing the gameplay, and I'll turn it over to Adam to kind of give his thoughts and move over to Dre. So what the gameplay is, it is unorthodox. It was designed for the GameCube controller. It is technically an on-rails shooter, but also an action-adventure game. And how it works is that if you're holding a GameCube controller, because this is how I played it, so this is the best way I can explain this, is if you hold down the A button, the big A button is what drives your character forward. If you want to shoot, you shoot in the Resident Evil sense, where you press the R button to bring up your aiming, and then you're going to have to scan most enemies with your L button, and then there's weak points you could potentially shoot, or you can just shoot the enemy. You have a map which navigates to find puzzle pieces. It's very easy to navigate, and you use those puzzle pieces to get to an end of the puzzle, obviously, or find out information and use that to progress. I would say it's relatively smooth and relatively easy, so long as you're playing it on normal. I did not play it on a difficulty higher than that.
Never have.
But yeah. Also, the C stick or the right stick, I would imagine, reloads.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty much the basis of your control. I think the D-pad does something. I can't remember. There is an important aspect of it that I don't remember now
at this point.
But that's pretty much the long and short of the controls and the gameplay. There's more levels of depth to that, because everyone has their own abilities. Each character has their own ability. You can level up with blood, which you get from shooting enemy weak points, makes your characters more powerful. And of course, there's boss fights that have interesting mechanics. So anyway, Adam, what did you think of the gameplay here?
So initially, when I first started playing it, my knee-jerk reaction was, oh no, I can't brag about this game to my friends because the gameplay is so rudimentary. Shit. And then I also sort of initially, probably about halfway through the game, I was still of the impression that, like, okay, this is a game that's more style over substance from a gameplay perspective. But then as I finished it, I grew to love it. So, like, I don't mind anymore that it's not a free roam and it's all on rails. Like that works for me. It's like going through a roller coaster where you get to shoot these guys and then, explore a level without having to, like, run around with the joystick. You can just hold down the A button, go do what you need to do. The one thing that did annoy me after a while was having to constantly press, I think it's the R button, to bring the Heaven Smiles, because they're all invisible, like actually make them visible again. Maybe it's the L button.
L button.
Yeah, because they're all invisible, and every time they spawn, they do the thing where they go, that's terrible laugh. We try that again. No, that's bad as well. That's like goofy. Anyway, they laugh. So that lets you know that they're there and they're spawning in. So it gives you an opportunity to press the L button to make them visible for the player. But after a while, it's just like, oh, why can't they just be visible from the beginning? Like, it would just save so many button presses. But overall, gameplay-wise, I mean, I dug it. It was fun. Once I got into the flow of it, I'm like, yeah, sweet, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's, I don't want to say it's repetitive in a bad sense, but it's repetitive in the sense that I've got a flow. I know exactly what I need to do, what buttons to press, where to shoot, and then each, room presents a different challenge of a different kind with an enemy placement, whatever else. But yeah, I dug it. I thought it was great. And I especially love that, like, once you collected all the soul bullets, you end up going to where this, can't remember the guy's name, but it's basically like a ticket booth where you hand in the soul button.
It's just like a gatekeeper. I don't think he has a name.
Yeah, gatekeeper. You hand in the soul bullets and then you go off through into this Coliseum thing, pick a door, and then you're fighting like a special heaven smile. And that's essentially leads you to the boss or whatever. And yeah, I loved it. And I especially, I'll talk about that later. It's the music. But yeah, moving on. Dr. Dre?
I loved it too. I wasn't sure what to expect. I think a lot of people were trying to bill it as like a first-person shooter or something before it came out. Because how do you describe a game like this? And I think it's really easy. It's an adventure game. You just go, you find item, find key, you solve puzzle, go back to this room. Oh, I can use this over here. And sometimes you shoot stuff along the way. That's it. It's just a classic adventure game. You know, and that's the thing I always say, because I loved Resident Evil before 4, because I loved like the fixed perspective, almost like taking a bit from like point and click games of the time. Alone in the Dark did this too, obviously, but then it's not really an action game. You shoot stuff, right? But it's an adventure game first and foremost. And Killer7 gave me that as well. So I love that it was just like you hold the A button and you just kind of scoot along. That's fine. But I'm sure, obviously, there's a lot of people who's like, well, why can't I just go wherever I want? Because this game would be a fucking mess if you could go wherever you want. You would get so lost. It would take forever. This game would be this game that's maybe a touch too long would be super duper long if you could do that. So they need to keep you on a literal path. And I think that's fine. I'm not going to get into it here, obviously. I'm always on the team of we need to take more stuff away from the player, not give more stuff in video games. We need to, as far as like controls and stuff like that goes. So I'm not going to get into it. But Killer7 is the reason why, not the sole reason why I feel that way. But this game does that, and it's super successful because it does that.
That last point you made, I actually tend to agree with that. I think that when you make a narrowly tailored experience towards a game player, I think that experience is actually better overall. And I know that that opinion is going to vary. Some people love the open world experience. I'm not one of them. I like a very linear, specific path you're supposed to take. That's what I enjoy. Now, to your point about the invisible heaven smiles and stuff like that, I can understand that. But there's also some advantages, like when you fight the giant ones or just some other ones in general. If they're invisible, they're easier to run past. It doesn't necessarily guarantee success, but like as an obstacle, they're easier to avoid for whatever reason. So that kind of, especially the giant heaven smiles. Fuck those ones. Oh Lord,
yeah.
They suck.
They're the worst.
I just cheesed them with Kevin. I turned Kevin's like invisible power all the way up, and I was just like, especially like some stuff in the theme park, because I was like, I don't know how to deal with these, and I don't think I'm gonna have to. I'm just gonna Kevin my way through this.
Exactly.
I Kevin my way through with the jetpack ones as well.
Oh, by the way, the D-pad auto locks. That's what I remember.
Okay.
The D-pad auto locks.
That makes sense.
Which makes it easier to fight those spaceship ones that fly towards you.
Oh, those are annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. But enemy variety is good, and what I do appreciate as well is that you can change your smith pretty much at will. What I didn't know is that I didn't know until the third level, there's no penalty for waking up all of them. I thought there was a penalty to waking them up because at the beginning of a chapter, you only have so many you can select from. And I thought, if I wake them up, like something bad is going to happen. No. It's just the game wants you to kill more enemies. And then once you kill more, you can wake more. You can wake all of them, and you can swap between all of them at will, except for Garcian. Garcian is the only one you cannot swap to at will. And of course, Harmon. Harmon shows up sparingly, only in boss battles, very specific events.
Can I make a confession at this point? I don't think I've ever said this out loud, and I was afraid to say it on Tales from the Backlog. I did not know the entire time I played on GameCube that you could switch at will in the start menu. I went back to the save point in the TV every time I needed a new character. I did not know that the entire fucking game.
That makes it a lot more
why
difficult.
your game was long.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it was fine. Because look, maybe I'm just an old school guy. I'm old. I'm in my 40s. I was just used to games be doing that back then.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
no,
I can
you're right.
I can just pause and just pick a person. Okay, sure. Yes.
But I think in terms of your adventure game kind of thing, I think this is the kind of game that wears Resident Evil on its sleeve. Like the inspiration from Mikami is evident everywhere, even to the point where some of those puzzles are really obtuse, unless you're like digging through the material that the game is throwing at you. And sometimes the game knows that, like at the end of the game where you have the recorded messages and it's like putting the name on the bottom of it, like write this down. You're going to need this. Like you could tell, like Mikami is probably like, "Oh, do this. The players will love it." And playtesters like, "No, we don't." And you're like, "Okay, well, we'll figure this out."
The map is also really helpful though, because if you look at the map, it's always marks like, "Okay, hey, there might be something here," and it's never. They don't want you to get too stuck. No. It's really seamless actually. So when the game says when you select normal difficulty, it says this is to make sure the player has a smooth experience. Yes, you as the player will have a smooth experience. And the gameplay is almost like I can understand why people were kind of turned off by it when it came out, because this wasn't something you would find back then. Yeah. But today, this is like the kind of game, if this was, I've said this about other games, but I think this definitely applies to Killer7. If this was released as an indie game today, people would be like, oh, wow, this control scheme is so innovative and is so intuitive while still having depth. Like, this is a really forward way of thinking for video game controls. That would be the narrative today. So if you bring that, like the of the time, the contemporary mindset is, this is stupid. I can't stand this. The modern mindset is, this is great. Like, I love this. Like, this simplifies everything. And I don't have to put up with all the stupid bullshit, like having to worry about like what all these buttons do, even though you're using all the buttons. I think it's very smartly designed and way ahead of its time. I think it knew exactly what it was trying to do, and it accomplished it in spades. Again, like as you said, Dre, navigating around the map, it tells you where the things are, where the important items are, and what you have left to do. And if you can't figure it out, like it's doing everything it can for you to at least, it's like leading the horse to water. And if you can't drink the water, it's going to drown you, but it's going to try its damnedest one way or the other. But and you also have that, what's that dude's name where you can get a hint from, and he like fucking double flips a bird at you. If you, you can get a hint from him who basically tells you how to solve the puzzle at hand. If that he's in the room of, like, so if you really can't figure it out, you could spend some blood on him and, hey, fuck you, asshole. Here's how to do it, and then you can go on your merry way. They do not want you to get stuck in this game.
Yes.
And that's good.
That reminds me of Travis, and I love Travis shirts. We didn't say that in the writing.
I need to get for the listening audience right now. I'm wearing a pink tank top right now. I am very Travis coded. I need to get one of his ones that say just sexual or whatever his shirts say.
Man, he has some wild shit on those shirts.
He does. He really does. Oh, so I think you can actually buy them. Suda51, because someone put them on like Redbubble or one of those sites, and they actually extracted the files from the game and put them on shirts, and Grasshopper Manufacturer retweeted us like, sure, this is great with us. Go ahead, buy them. It's like, okay, sure. So they're out there somewhere.
I'm doing this after we record this. I'm looking for it. I'm going to get some of those shirts. I'm going to get arrested because I'm probably going to be around a school when I wear it. So that's just my luck.
Just don't wear the one that says sexual.
Link me when you find it.
I'm going to find one that's worse than that, to be honest with you.
I know. But yeah, man, I really don't like when people, especially, well, back then people said what they said, but when people say this game controls bad or something, it's like, maybe you are a big old dumb.
It controls great. It controls great. It's just you're not used to it.
Yeah, and that's fine. What can I say?
I agree.
Sweet. Boss fights. What do we think of boss fights? I thought they were kind of dumb. Being really honest.
Frustrating.
Some were cool, but then some others were weird. that are like the ones where you have to like people are running around like the parking lot or whatever, the parking structure. You got to like chase them. They're just really fast and it's hard to do. So it takes a long time. It's not bad. Yeah. It's just weird. I like the one with Dan Smith and you kind of have to play like quick draw with that guy or something. That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, that had more interaction, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of all the bosses. Most of them they're not hard.
I like the one with the 2 CEOs.
That one's hard.
Actually, that one was...
Where you have to fight them in the boardroom, yeah.
That was frustrating. I did not like that one.
Really?
I don't like the one where you had to bait somebody into, like, shooting at you so you could run behind them and shoot their back?
That's the first boss. That's Angel.
Oh, right, yeah. That was okay.
I remember Olmeda was a little weird, right? He chases you through the trailer park, kind of, and you have to, like...
That's my favorite boss fight.
Is that your favorite one?
I was going to say that was my favorite
that's
too.
That's because I think like that required the most amount of I need to know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just like shooting at the boss constantly. It wasn't a lot of idleness, even though I do appreciate the mechanic. Or even like there's no real consequence with the Power Ranger fight. Like there's no real consequence. You're going to win one way or another. It's all scripted.
That annoyed me too. Because certain characters I liked didn't win. I'm like, this is stupid. Why didn't she win?
Yeah. Haide, why'd you die? You suck.
Yeah.
You suck.
You were my favorite. You let me down.
But the Almeida fight, like, if you screwed up, you died. And you needed to actually, like, carefully navigate your way around. And it was, like, you don't get a map of the ambulances because it's a bunch of ambulances that are interconnected.
Oh, it's ambulances. Why did I think it was a trailer park? Oh, because Garcian lives there.
Yeah,
that's why.
It's I mean, it feels like a trailer park when you get there because it's just desert out there.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a town full of hicks. But you run up to him and like you have to precision attack his afro brain. Yeah. And that's how you kill him. But you only need one shot, but getting that close is hazardous. And you have to navigate there because he will kill you one shot. So that was my favorite one. If you didn't know like what to do, but all the other ones are like, because of the gameplay that I do appreciate, I do love a lot. Because of the way that's implemented, I don't feel it. I feel like it limited boss fights in a lot of aspects, that it really held them back.
It's not a gameplay style that's conducive to it. Unfortunately, like the best you kind of get sometimes is like the big homunculus things where it's like, here are the 5 weak points you need to shoot out. But then they're also heaven smiles are spawning at you as well. Those are kind of fun because it's kind of rub your stomach, pat your head, kind of like, OK, I need to pay attention to this, but I also need to, so that's kind of cool, I guess. But like the boss fights are also. Yeah, I understand. I think some of them are annoying. I think just the really fast ones where you have to really hit a fast moving target or maybe a bit much, but other than that,
the Ayami Blackburn, the anime face girl.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Both of them are annoying. The second one is more of a traditional boss fight, but it's still nonetheless annoying because you have to hit her while she's in front of a gate that's opening.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, some people would probably like that boss fight. They'd be like, "What are you talking about? It's way better than the previous one." I actually think it's better. Because the other one, you just sit there with mask and wait until she comes around the corner. Go boom,
boom,
boom.
Yep.
And it's like, okay.
Mask just solves the whole thing. I was probably being stubborn and sticking to Coyote or someone I needed with precision. I should have just switched to Mask to Smith.
Yeah, because blood doesn't matter.
I wish you could suplex her. You know how like Master Smith can suplex random items to get out of your way? I wish you could just suplex the enemy.
Suplex enemies. Any enemy. That'd be great.
Yes.
He's a wrestler.
Suplex one of the ball heaven smiles that roll at you with that clinky sound. Just, like a strong man.
Suplex the giant one.
Suplex everything.
Everything. Even the train.
Yep.
Probably my biggest criticism for the bosses is the environments that they're in because of the limitation of your movement. You're always stuck in like a small room. I wish that there was some sort of, like they redesigned the environments better so you had a bit more mobility while still being on rails and, had a chance to get closer, get further away, whatever. Like, because it seemed like most of them are just, stay back and shoot from a distance unless you're being chased by Almeida and then you need to run away and then try and get behind him. But I think they probably could have just redesigned that a little bit better.
Yeah.
I agree, but it's like I said, I think it's a hard gameplay style to have bosses, and it's just kind of tough to do. So, I think they did the best they could.
And overall, it's a positive. Overall, everything I think is a positive. But I do feel like it's trapped in there's a better way of saying this, but it's trapped within the all convections of a video game where it's like you need to have a boss fight. So they had to try their best to find different varieties of boss fights in order to move the story along, for better or for worse. Yeah. And like, how else do you do that? Because you do want a culmination in each of these chapters. I get it. But I mean, the entire point is the enemy variety, and I thought the enemy variety was actually incredible. Aside from a few enemies we already talked about, but figuring that out and figuring out which smith is the best to take them down, I thought that was very appropriate, and I loved it.
Yeah,
even if I hated some of them, but that's fine. There's plenty of variety. Okay, so let's get into the visual presentation of this game. I don't think I have to explain anything other than it's like cell shaded kind of, but I'll let you all explain it. Dre, go ahead and kick the segment off. What do you think about how this game looks?
Incredible. One of my favorite looks in a video game of all time. I don't think that's any hyperbole from me. It is. It's the reason why people say like the fidelity doesn't matter so much. Like art is forever. Art style is forever. This game absolutely proves it. It's incredible. Here's something that I don't think a lot of people think about, including myself, until recently. Before Killer7, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there was another game that was super cell shaded like this that was not fun and colorful, like Jet Set Radio or like something like that. I feel like this is the first game that used that technology. Maybe 13. Remember the first person shooter 13? Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
maybe that. But I feel like Killer7 is like the first like quote unquote mature game to like use this, which I think is kind of fascinating in retrospect. But
13 was 2003.
Okay, yeah, but I feel like it was also rated teen. It wasn't like this, like
I haven't played 13. I can't comment beyond that. So you might be right.
Yeah, maybe 13 is the thing that comes closest. But like, point is, it was great to see. Again, we talked about MTV, whether it's Aeon Flux or Liquid Television, or I guess Aeon Flux was part of that. But like, it hits that perfect art style for me. It's almost like someone made this in a lab for me to enjoy. This is exactly my type of shit. I love it's not just the cell shading and the graphics and the character designs as well. It's all the presentational aspects of it. The pause menu is insane. Your health is represented by like an eyeball that's like, when it gets closed, you are not woke anymore. You are you are dead. And then like, I love the like when you have the branching paths, it brings up this very stylish like and dynamic sort of like, you're gonna go this way or that way, or these three ways, right? And you pick one, you kind of guide the control stick towards one and you pick it and you start moving that way. All that presentational stuff, plus the cell shading, is just sublime. Some of my favorite graphics of all time.
What version did you play this on, by the way?
Oh, I played the GameCube version originally.
Okay, yeah.
And then about a year and a half ago, I played it on Steam.
Okay, good.
And I've seen PS2 and yuck.
Adam, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I think the art style is legitimately one of the best art styles I've ever seen in a video game. I love the heavy use of shadows and the lighting. Like a shadow comes down across the environment and it's like pitch black. It looks beautiful. It's almost like God, I don't know what the style is called, but it's like some sort of retro
minimalist or
yeah, that's it. It's like kind of it reminds me a bit of like MC Escher sort of stuff, but like heavy shadows. And anyway, love all that stuff. And I love some of the other artistic choices they've taken. Like when you shoot a Heaven Smile, it basically explodes into particles. Like it goes from a solid into like a million little red blood cell particles. And that is brought over through like each time you start a new chapter, you're shooting a dark silhouette of something that explodes into like blood particles and stuff. And it holds for a second. Like it's the silhouette. It holds in that shape. And then all the blood just like splatters and it disappears off screen. And awesome. I love that. And of course, like the hand-drawn animation, like we said, it especially in the Almeida chapter, very reminiscent of like Aeon Flux. It turns into a more anime aesthetic when it gets into that like that villa sort of Italian style level. I actually don't know where that was set.
I don't remember where that was set either.
Yeah, but it was almost like Spanish, almost Italian, like
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, Dominican Republic. Okay.
Yeah, so it's set there, and then like the hand-drawn animation in those is like proper Cowboy Bebop anime-looking anime face actual style, which is cool. And to be honest, it was a little jarring because I preferred the more Aeon Flux style over that. But either way, it all looks phenomenal, especially like the whole Handsome Men cutscenes / Power Ranger stuff. They all look great. The in-game character models, yeah, they probably don't look, super detailed or anything, but it wasn't about that. It's like having solid colors, solid blocks, and having its style defined by like the use of shadows and basically no texture. Like none of the characters had any texture at all. Solid color. Yeah. And I think that just works really, really well because the shade will change based on the lighting. And I loved it. I'm not sure what else to say about that, but the art style is just phenomenal.
You know what? You triggered something I was thinking about while I was playing this game. It's like, what did this remind me of? You said Aeon Flux. That's definitely something that reminded me of. Cowboy Bebop was another one. But you know what came out in 2003 that this reminds me a lot of? The Animatrix.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, you're right.
This gives me strong Animatrix vibes because for anyone who remembers the Animatrix, it was a series of animated films from very profound, very well-known animators at the time that they tapped to do the series or the Matrix series. And they're all different styles. That's not necessarily the case with Killer7, but it gives off those vibes. Yes, I mean, the animation style from the Almeida scene to the Power Ranger scene is technically the same animation style, but it feels very different. It's really hard to explain. And that's just the anime scenes. The in-game scenes also feel like their own kind of animated movie that's separate from those. And it all feels like it has its own vibe, its own flair. And I played this on a CRT on my GameCube just for the most recent time. I think like Dre said that he just did. Did you play this on a CRT as well? Or did you play this on Steam, Adam?
No, I played it on my laptop here on Steam.
Okay. Adam?
I played it on my Wii using component cables through an HDMI converter on my OLED. And it still looked pretty good.
Yeah, it still looks good. But like, it just looks, it holds up. Like it holds up just phenomenal. I don't think any way that you play this, it doesn't hold up. It does have indicators that it's definitely of this era in terms of the character animations. You're going to see those kind of things. But I think those kind of character animations and stylizations have come back in sort of a retro throwback, much like, the 16-bit and 8-bit design styles have had their time. You're starting to see this now with PS1, PS2 type graphics in terms of, not entirely fluid animation with your characters. They are very blocky if you want to go down that route. But that sort of aesthetic lends into the overall design style and how it ties into the narrative of this set piece of where you have a character that's technically insane. It fits very, very, very well. And I think, this always it's always a testament to the decision of the games that decided to go cel shaded at the time, because it was hit or miss. Wind Waker, as I mentioned very earlier, was an example of one that was a miss, but now has stood the test of time as an example for why the GameCube was so fantastic. And I think this game needs to be held up alongside Wind Waker of probably even being a better example of why cel shading was such a smart decision at that time when it was appropriate. And this is definitely an appropriate one. Also, for a game that's incredibly violent, and it does have incredibly dark and violent moments, what Adam said about the particle explosions for the Heaven Smiles is actually not as violent as you would imagine. Yeah, sometimes they have little blood splurts that come out, but I think, you go back to like the Mortal Kombat era and how violent games could get, it could be like way more over the top, but it feels like it actively subdued itself in its portrayal of violence when the Heaven Smiles died.
even in a lot of the scenes where there is violence, it feels like it actively toned itself down. And I appreciate that because it's not unviolent. It definitely is violent. But I feel like the way it does it, it makes your mind fill in the blanks for more things that could potentially go on. And I think that's actually perhaps more disturbing than actual realistic violence and gore, because it certainly tries to portray that. The enemy designs too, they are gruesome looking. The enemies look fearsome. They look distorted. They look disfigured. They look like monstrosities. And that's always appreciated. And you don't always get to see the full vision of them either. And they're very abnormal. It's kind of like that. There's some inspiration from Evangelion too. And when you think about the angels from that series and how they're all unique and different, and they don't really have a set of designs. And again, we'll go back to Heaven Smiles. Angels, first chapter, angel. There's probably some through line there, whether it's from Evangelion or just the angelic sense in terms of how angels are loosely defined, especially what apparently tends to be in Japanese culture. There seems to be some sort of through line. And I think that like I said about the enemy variety and gameplay, that going into the enemy variety and design really brings this game to life. The environments are fantastic, fully 3D and beautiful, especially like you said in the Dominican Republic area, just so bright and this like very tropical, very plaster white setting with all the buildings and everything like that. It reminds me of the tropics. It was just beautiful, especially with the music that we're going to get into really soon. The desert level in Almeida stage and how those set pieces when you would go behind the building and this giant corporation would just fall down and then be exposed for the facade it was. Yeah, it does everything correctly. It's gorgeous, and it's not just the visuals; it's the design on top of it. Pitch perfect.
100%. I want to second what you said about the violence. Yeah, it's sometimes, it can be kind of gruesome sometimes, but also because this game, it's psychological. That's why it's scary. It makes you you don't know what's going to happen. Right. Like that's the reason why when he shoots that CEO in the head, I wasn't thinking a fucking other weird brain head would come out and they just start talking to him. That's why it's freaky. Right. Because you have no idea what's going to happen at any point. You may know what's going to happen when you shoot a Heaven Smile, but still that sort of it's like Adam described, that sort of freeze and the blood just sort of, like that. That's just like, whoa. Right. So that makes it even freakier than like maybe if they just played it straight. So I think I agree.
I agree as well.
Also, some Dead Space elements, which we didn't mention in the gameplay, where you can shoot off the limbs of a lot of the Heaven Smiles.
Yeah,
you can. So not recommended.
Yeah, it makes it harder to hit their weak points. But yeah, if you really want to get away from something, you can kneecap one. It's like, oh, I'm piecing out of here. Sorry about your kneecap, but I gotta go.
All right, let's move in. Since I did mention the music, let's move into the sound design to include the music. Dre, since you have been called Dr. Dre this entire episode by the one that is known as Adam, what is your thought on the sound design?
Fantastic. The music is one thing, but like I want to talk like sound effects and stuff first, because it's like there's a lot of very cool stuff you hear, whether it's like the Heaven Smile stuff, right? I mentioned the one ball shaped Heaven Smile that's rolling at you with like a clinkety, like almost sounds like coins in a dryer almost. Like it's like, why does it make that sound? Who knows?
Well, like
it's
bells
weird.
On a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Almost like that, right? Yeah. Or like the Heaven Smiles that run really fast at you, you can hear them going, ha, ha, ooh, ha, ha, as they get like closer to you. That's weird. It's like, oh my God. That's the worst feeling in the game, where it's like you don't know which way it's coming, but you know it's close enough that you know you're not going to find it. So you just kind of stand there and accept your fate. It's like, okay, just kill me, just blow me up. I love all the stingers, the jingles, if you will, of like when you get to a certain puzzle and you don't have the right thing and it makes that sort of confused guitar bend, that and it's like, what? Or when you solve something, it has that sort of acoustic guitar strum too of like, you did it, right? So I like that they use guitars for a lot of that stuff. One thing I want to say about the sound design that I think I love the most is that when someone's alive, they speak English. When they're not alive, they speak gibberish. that sort of weird ghosty talk, you know, and I love that. They could have had it just them speaking and they just like have that sort of ghosty filter over it, which a lot of things do. But like they actually made them speak that sort of weird backwards gibberish that sounds like words, but not really. So I love that about it as well. Just sounds like something from another dimension. Shit, I don't even know where to begin with the music. Can we just play the Vinculum Gate song for 5 minutes and just
rave something? Yeah, just play that right here, Ashton.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic song.
You guys talk about the music. I'll chime in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just want to add with the sound effect stuff, the sort of like ghostly whispering thing also reminded me a lot of the episode titles from Serial Experiments Lane, how it like does it through a whisper. It's very much like that sort of digital whispery thing. But I thought like at some point maybe they were speaking like an actual script and it was just a bit distorted because I could maybe hear words, but it never really matched up with what the actual subtitles were. So I don't know, maybe it was like one of those English things. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, the sound effects are fantastic.
Voice acting, yeah, it has cheese to it, but it's one of those things where if it feels natural, I'm down with it. And this feels intentional and it feels natural. It doesn't feel out of place ever. Like it knows what it's trying to be. I didn't look over the voice actors in particular, but I know I saw some notable names when I was looking through the credits when I was watching the credits. There's Steve Blum's in here. He's one of the voice actors. There's a lot of decent voice acting here. So I think they were directed to be cheesy and over the top. That's what this game is.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you listen really closely to that distorted voice for the characters that display the distorted voice, they are speaking a real script. They are speaking English. I don't know what the Japanese text is, the Japanese voice is, but yeah, sometimes like you can line it up with exactly what their subtitles are saying, and sometimes it diverts wildly. I would want a script of what they're saying the entire time and compare it against the script that it's telling you. I want to see the differences. I want to see what they're actually saying and see if there's any meaning there, because I think that would be wild. Or maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe I would be completely like, oh, that's it? Okay, whatever. But I want to know. I want to know. But I
would like to know.
It's good. It's good. And also, you know what? Now that I think about it, the fact that you hear the laughter and sound is an element in order to detect enemies, that might be a throwback to Enemy Zero. A little bit obscure cut.
Yep. Might be.
But
look, there's no way Suda51 would be doing what he's doing without Enemy Zero or D, or I mean, I feel like those games are direct descendants of Killer 7. Obviously, at least it is to me.
I just kind of pulled that out of my brain space. I can't remember the director's name of that, but I know that if I can recall, he's very influential in the Japanese horror development space, which was very influential in probably Mikami and by extension Suda51. So I'm sorry I'm forgetting his name right now, but that would explain that. But like the fact that you can hear them, and I don't know if it has spatial audio or not. It was not wearing headphones, unfortunately, but there is a little bit of that. And knowing where the enemies are, like the sound effects are spot on. The gun sound effects are great. The environmental sound effects, as Dre mentioned, are also right there. And they're using unique sounds to clearly give the player an indication of what type of action can be performed. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the music, but I just want to say from a sound aspect, voice acting, general sound design, we're going to say this probably for the remainder of the sound portion, but top notch.
Yeah, 100%. I just
A+.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Killer 7's music for me. It's not one of those soundtracks that I'm like, I go and listen to a lot. It's one of those things that's like when I play the game, I enjoy it. However, when I remembered a lot more of that music, because typically with games like this, I don't typically remember like, oh yeah, that song that plays in that level, it's like some spooky atmospheric thing. And this game has a lot of that, but it's also very put together. It's not just like, here's a spooky string. It's very like, I don't know. I don't think industrial is the right word. Maybe it is.
No,
I wouldn't say it's industrial because there's such a variety to it.
Yeah, it sounds here's the thing. It sounds very much like the electronica, for lack of a better term, of the mid 2000s. However, it doesn't sound like completely. Yeah, it sounds like that era, but it's also not like dubstep or something. Man, I don't know how to describe, because it's all over the place, right? You get all sorts of textures in this game musically that it's like. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm thinking of running around the theme park, right? And you have that sort of like spy film-ish sort of electronic sort of, you have like a gritty sort of electric guitar in there somewhere, but it's also tense. You know, someone's not banging on the drum kit, but you also get like a bit of a hi-hat and a little bit of snare sometimes. It's like, but it's not jazz either, right? I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of influences from a lot of places, but point is, it sounds like it's era. And it doesn't feel like it dates itself like completely, you know, it's really, really good stuff overall.
And before we move on, just to shout out the composer, because I think we're going to lay a lot of love on them. It is Masafumi Takada, who has also made music. I'm looking for the bigger games. Of course, there's much more. Seems to be conjoined directly at the hip with Suda 51, the No More Heroes soundtrack, the Earth Defense Force series soundtracks.
That makes sense.
It's Danganronpa 2. So Danganronpa. Some of the Danganronpa. Yeah. So if you're familiar with that, that's who's composing this. If you like that, if you don't like that, then that's what you're going to get out of this. So over to Adam for music.
Yeah, it's like what Dr. Dre said. It's gritty. It sounds like really raw. The thing I love about it is, like, even though it covers sort of a whole range of different genres and different soundscapes and stuff, you can hear, like in the guitar riffs or whatever, you can hear the fingers moving across the strings as it goes to the next note. Like, I love that because it doesn't feel overly produced. It feels like it's just, gritty. I can't think of a better way to describe that. But yeah, it's kind of like how people will swear by listening to something on a record player rather than digitally because it gives them a different sort of vibe. Like, this kind of music gives me a different sort of vibe than, you know, modern day. If you just play like, I don't know, rock or electronica or whatever, it sounds polished and produced. This is way different and does kind of have like an industrial gritty rawness. Anyway, I love the dance song after the gatekeeper thing where you go into the little corridor, and it only plays for like 2 corridors or whatever, but I cannot resist bopping my head when that song is playing. I would just stand in that corridor for a while and sit there with my controller and be like, da 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 da, like popping my head.
It's so good.
It's incredible.
Yeah. It's really good.
You know what's good about it too? Because you're like, look, if you made it that far in the game, you're accepting what's happening here, right? So you're accepting Killer7. So by the time you get there and that plays, it doesn't feel as just like, sure, why not? What else would they do here? You know? Whereas I guess in a lot of games that something like that might feel out of place, but here it's just sure, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first time it happened, I didn't know what I was in for. I'm like, oh, am I walking into a nightclub? Because I was is this part of it? So anyway, you don't end up in a nightclub. You end up in like a big open space with a bunch of different doors. But either way, like, super cool. And like I said, sort of at the top of the episode, the sort of trip hop, hip hoppy song that plays over the end credits and stuff. I would listen to that on repeat for ages and ages and ages. And it's so beautiful. It has that hip hoppy beat thing going on, but it also has like the soft piano playing in it. And yeah, fantastic. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's so good.
At what point? Yeah.
I think it's the end credits, and it's rough, may or may not play in the section where Emil Park-Reiner shoots himself in the head.
Okay. Emil Park-Reiner. Yes.
It's not there very often, but when it is there, so good.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what y'all are saying. I love that the entrance to the Coliseum theme. It's really good.
I like that you can hear it sounds like a nightclub, though, because when you're outside, you hear the booming bass, so you're not hearing the full song. You know, it sounds like you're outside of a nightclub. Then you go in and you hear it, you know, so it really does give it that effect.
One of another standouts for me is when Almeida's stage, because it really sounds like the background music for an anime. And that's what's like, it knows what it needs to accomplish. The themes that you're getting when you're like the character select theme, when you're going through all those characters, that's a really good theme.
Yeah, it's really good.
It doesn't try to be overly atmospheric, but at the same time, it knows how to be. Like it knows the environment it's in. It knows when it's being over the top and wacky and a little bit weird, but it also knows the time to change the music into something a little bit more tense, a little bit distorted and a little bit uneasy. The music direction, just like the sound direction in this game, is fantastic, and the composition for each one of those tracks just hits. It might, and what Dre said, it might not be the soundtrack you're going to play in your car, constantly on repeat. That might not be what this game is for you. But what it does do is it marries up with the game in such a perfect way. There is no conceivable way in my mind that I'd want to have any other soundtrack playing along with it. It just marries up too well. And so what do you say to that? Like, I think that's technically what I would call a perfect soundtrack, even though it's not a soundtrack that you would probably recommend to your friends to listen to, because they'd probably be confused. Like it needs to accompany it. Even though there are tracks, definitely you could be like, yeah, this is awesome. Go check it out. Fuck.
No, I agree. I'm not a fan of atmospheric music like that. Like all the games nowadays are trying to be movie soundtracks, and that kind of shit bores me to death. That's not the kind of music I personally like. So, but Killer7, it proves that you can do that. You can have some sort of tension. You can have music like that and not be fucking boring. And so I really appreciate Killer7 for providing that.
The music in the last stage when you're in the hotel, it doesn't matter if you're going through the first time or the second time. It is so uneasy.
Yeah.
It is incredibly uneasy. And like, is this a survival horror game now? I mean, kind of. But also no. Yeah. It's good.
It's really great stuff. I mean, I think that's why, I mean, it's like I said at the beginning, I was trying to think of like, what was I expecting from Killer7 before I came into it. And I was thinking survival horror because it's Capcom, it's rated mature, it's co-written by Shinji Mikami. I don't know who the Suda51 guy is, but I sure found out real fast. And, you know, the box art kind of gives you that feel. So like when I heard that music just going around the school or whatever that first place is, it's like, oh yeah, I recognize this kind of, you know, they're doing the survival horror thing. Oh wait, no, they're not, you know, so it definitely gave me that feel. That's for sure.
It knows the assignment. So I think that concludes our very lengthy overall review of what we've done so far, but I'm glad we did it. Now it's time to move into our patron pontifications. Our patron pontifications are where our patrons get to chime in on what they think about the episode. You can either do this over on our Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or you can join our Discord as a Patreon and find out in our Patreon pontifications when I post that what your thoughts are on an upcoming episode. So our first pontification is from Dave Jackson from Tales from the Backlog, throwing back to the beginning of this episode, who has talked about this game with Dre. And Dave says, Killer7 is the only Suda51 game I've played, so I can't comment on the other games, but this felt like jumping into the deep end of all the weirdness. And I loved it. The story is insane, the music is fantastic, and I loved the little voice line from the 7 when you kill an enemy. My favorite is, "Oh, you're fucked." The story is batshit insane, and frankly, the whole experience is, but it's an unforgettable one. Break, Dave, I actually kind of tend to agree with that on Break. And I guess that's what draws people to Suda51 to begin with. All right.
100%. I am a Suda51 freak, not just for Killer7, so I love his shit.
Good.
Lethgo from the Aftergo podcast says, another game I've heard of but haven't played. Applies to both Persona 4 Golden and Killer7. Interested if I find the time. We'll listen in to see if it's worth it. Lethgo, it's worth it. I promise. We promise. Would we lead you wrong? Maybe?
Probably. By the way, sorry, listeners, the Persona 4 Golden reference is the fact that we still haven't done that episode. It's coming soon. We promise.
It is. On to alt, and I'm going to read this as I imagine alt sounds. There's two things I know about... I'm just kidding. There's
God
two
damn it,
things I know
Adam.
about Killer7. Okay, all right. Alt says...
What the fuck is wrong with
There's
you?
two things I know about Killer7. It's a cool game name, and Masafumi Takeda worked on the music. He's now connected to Danganronpa and other Kodaka works, Suda51 works, obviously this game, and the Digimon story games, starting from Cyber Sleuth, and he is one of my favorite composers. I'd like to play Killer7 at some point. I believe the game received an enhanced version, ? This was one of the very few mature GameCube games back in the day, I believe next to Geist, Eternal Darkness, and Resident Evil games? ? The end.
This is BMX Triple X erasure, okay?
It very much is.
Please.
I want titties on my GameCube.
The GameCube version was the only one who had tits.
Wasn't she wearing a bra though?
No, you could see them. They happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Only on GameCube. PS2 and Xbox censored it.
Adam, that's such a gay thing to say.
Yeah, well, bikes are gay, so good luck with you being nice. Get on a skateboard, you poofter. I'm just kidding. It's not Pride Month anymore. I can say what I want.
Oh my god.
Next.
You killed him. He is dead. Sorry, the show's over, everybody.
All right, next is from Randall, a resident PC freak. And Randall says, ain't got no idea who this Sudoku 51 is. All I know is he made that jerk off your lightsaber game. Please read it in a stupid southern voice. That would have been perfect in Almeida's level, by the way, Randall. And thank you for your comment.
Comment from Omi. I played a little Killer7 last night. This game is weird and trippy, but also sucks. On brand for Suda51, except this time for a helping of the controls don't make sense. Well, what can I say? That was the opinion of half the people when this came out in 2005. So what can I say? I'm going to say this. This game is an acquired taste. I'm not going to sit here and say like this is a game that should have been mainstream. It was never going to be mainstream, right? But what can I say? I think the controls make perfect sense.
Well, you're about to say more of that because now we're going to get into what we think about how this game holds up today. So, as we are wont to do here at the last portion of whether or not we hold up today, the guests get to go. No, I get to go first. I lied, Adam.
Okay.
Wow.
I am screwing this all up.
He lied right to our face.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Again.
I don't know how much you're going to include in this, Ashton, but as is tradition, as we are wont to do, I'm going to go first and give our guests the final word. And what I'll say as whether or not this game holds up today is yes. This is my front runner for game of the year so far. This is the game where I love the sexiness of it. I don't think we talked about that, and it's not necessarily that overt, but there is a lot of sexiness to it. I love the violence. I love the general attitude. This game just checks all the right boxes for me. Even though I can acknowledge there's some shortfalls in its gameplay department that I think won't make everybody happy, but it made me happy. I enjoyed this game thoroughly, from the sound design to the controls being as basic and intuitive as it is, from the batshit crazy borderline Kojima plot that made no sense and also made sense and had more questions than answers and makes you smart if you want to try talking about it, but also stupid depending on the company that you keep. It's one of those games that is just, this is my shit. This is 100% my shit. It's still a beautiful, gorgeous, crazy game that just delves into the schizophrenia that is my mind. It touches the twisted part of me that I'm always afraid to expose. This is Killer7, and I love it to death. I 100% thinks it holds up. And if you're a weird freak, you need to play this fucking game. You need to get after it. You will fucking love it. So yes, I think it holds up today. Adam, what do you think?
I want to say, as I want to do. Is that what you say? No, never.
Yes,
mind.
I do.
Fuck it. I've ruined it already. Yeah.
I want to say that.
Okay, anyway. I've never said it. I want to say it.
There you
But
go.
anyway, yeah, 100%. This game holds up. It's fantastic. I love it. It is an absolute time capsule of the period, but still fully playable today and fully enjoyable today. Although I will say, it being such a time capsule and me having that time capsule be specifically related to my teenage years, the nostalgia and everything that it sort of like meant for me back then, coming back to it after all that time, it was not nearly as magical as I think it was back then, but it's still fantastic. Like, absolutely, if you haven't played this before, play it because it's so good. It's unique. The controls are unique, even though Omi thinks that they're terrible. You know, you're allowed to be wrong, Omi. It's fine. It's a unique experience. The story is fantastic. Even though the political stuff went completely over my head, I was fully absorbed into this wacky world, and the art style is fucking phenomenal. Music, so good. Absolutely A+ from me. I just wish that I could go back to being a teenager and play it again for the first time with my brain as a 17-year-old. Because even though I've grown up and my brain's grown, even though it's still somewhat deficient, you know, it's more mature now, and I think I probably have grown out of this style a little bit. But it meant so much to me back then that I'm going to overlook whatever little nitpicky flaws I could pick up this time around. So yeah, it holds up.
Hell yeah. All right, Dre, bring us home.
Shit, I don't know if I have much to say. I think, Chris, we are aligned on a lot. You know, I think as far as game tastes go, and like, I feel like you said it. If you are a fucked up little guy like me, just play this game. It'll get into your fucked up brain. It'll tick all those boxes. It ticked it for me. It still ticks them now. And, you know, I was kind of afraid of that, actually. When I replayed it a year and a half ago, I finally got the Steam version. I played it through. I was like, I don't know. Did I just like this because I was in my early 20s and I was a weirdo? No, I'm still a weirdo. And Killer7 is still great. I liked it just as much as I did back then. I think I understand a bit more about the world now. So the political stuff makes more sense to me, especially like, look, it's very, you know, of its time, 2005, you know, I don't have to tell you what happened in 2005. I hope if you're listening to this, you were alive in 2005 and remember what happened. Point is, like, it's just great. It's still, I know this, I always make fun of other people for saying this, so I'm going to be a hypocrite and say this myself. It still is relevant today, those themes. It still works. Absolutely go play Killer7. It's always on sale on Steam for $3 or something. Just go do the damn thing. It's great stuff. Have an open mind.
Ringing endorsement. That's a holds up all the way around from the three of us. So go fucking play it. If you don't like it, it's not our fault. That's your fault, obviously.
It was only $3, so
only $3. What do you have to lose?
Come on.
That's 1/3 of a Starbucks coffee. Assholes.
That's the line nowadays. Yep.
All right. So let's close this one out. First of all, before I kick it over to you to pitch where you can find both of you on the internet, if you even want them to find them anymore, Adam, I want to thank both of you. Yeah, you're shrugging. I know. But I'm here for you. I want to thank both of you for stopping by. Just genuinely, Adam, you've been, with us for a while now, and it's always a pleasure to have you on, and especially King of Games going to the main feed here soon, and you being so instrumental in all of those. So thanks so much. I'm sorry your show's kind of dead, but you rock, man. I love you, man. And
thanks. And that sounds like a eulogy.
Well,
but you're still alive.
At some point that will be relevant then.
But now.
And Dre. And Dre, thank you so much for stopping by the show. I've been looking forward to you coming by because you said like on terms of our game preference and game likes, like it sounds like we're pretty much on the same wavelength. So you being here and like it's awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
So since I figure you're going to have less to say about where to find you on the internet, I'll let you go first, Adam. So where can people find you on the internet?
Okay, well, you can find my old episodes of The Good, the Bad, and the Backlog. They're still up on Spotify and all that sort of stuff. I have a link tree still, linktr.ee/goodbadbacklog. The show is probably not going to come back. My co-host is probably not going to come back. So I've been thinking about maybe picking it up again next year with another co-host, or I don't know. But there's some unresolved things on that show I want to talk about, like this whole court case I went through with my neighbors. It's this whole saga.
Wow.
If you really listen to some of the episodes, you'll hear like sprinklings of it. And I want to just do like a tell-all.
I'm an opportunist. I'm an opportunist. We can record it and we can put it on our Patreon. Let's do it.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, my nosy ass wants to hear that, honestly. So yes.
I know. Well, that's what I figured is like, if you go back and listen to the episodes, you can hear like little bits and pieces where I complain about them. And then it's radio silence. And that's because they took me to court because they found the podcast. Anyway, it's this whole thing. I have these court documents. They're making these ridiculous complaints that I was like trying to get my online following to attack them and stuff, which is totally untrue. But anyway,
I love it.
Point is, one day I want to do a tell-all. Yeah, I want to do a tell-all.
We haven't done
a
retro hung under in a while. That'll be April 1st, 2026.
Hung under.
Market.
All right. Anyway, so that's in the works. I got to do that at some point. And other than that, I have had a couple of chats with some other people about potentially starting a new show, but that's still very early stages, and I'm very busy, so it hasn't happened yet. But maybe one day. Stay tuned.
All right. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, bro. Dre, tell us where we can have a fine time.
You can have a fine time wherever you find podcasts. Look on your favorite podcatcher for Fine Time. It's a show where me and my two friends, Steve and Kevin, we talk about whatever we're playing. It'd be something new, like Donkey Kong Bonanza. It could be something old, like Killer7. Whatever we are genuinely playing, that's what we're going to talk about. We love to play silly quiz games. You love to talk about the latest news. Oh, this Microsoft stuff. Oh, we're going to dig into that shit real soon. So like, yeah, we get into the muckety muck. It's a fun time. It's a fine time, actually. So come have a fine time with us. If you look at the descriptions of any of those podcasts, you can find all our links to social media.
All right. Awesome. And once again, thanks both of you for stopping by. I've already kissed your ass enough. So enough of that. Just so all of you know, you can find the Retro Hangover podcast wherever you found it right now, obviously. But in case you forgot, just head over to our social media link tree, which is linktr.ee/Retro Hangover. You can also find us on most podcast services of your choice, maybe even YouTube when we decide to update that, which is rarely ever. And you can also find us on Twitch or YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays, where we play games poorly and just wish we were My Life in Gaming because we shadowed them at the same time. And yeah, they're fantastic. So I don't know what we're selling here exactly, but
you're selling My Life in Gaming, of course.
Of course, why wouldn't I? They're great. I love those guys. They're so cool. But we are also streaming simultaneously with them in case, I don't know, you have nothing better to do and you love us. Why wouldn't you love us? We're lovable. I have a beer that you can't see. That's so soft.
It is fantastic.
It's great. I'm trying to look like a Marvel villain. Anyway,
it feels great in between your ass crack.
We can always test that out when I go to Australia someday. But with that being said, until next time, play with your you're fucked joysticks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Shane here with a quick message. You know, the one rule Chris and I have always gone by regarding advertisements is this. It has to be something we use and can personally vouch for. If you know me, you know I love coffee. And Bones Coffee Company has been my go-to for home brewing for quite some time now. Their small batch beans come in an impressive variety of flavors like Mint Invaders from Chocolate Space, or Electric Unicorn, which I swear tastes exactly like Fruity Pebbles. And the best part? No added sugar or calories involved, just natural flavors infused right into the beans themselves. Build your own sample pack of 5 4-ounce bags to find out which flavors speak to you, or jump in head first with full 12-ounce bags. They've even got K-Cups. Step up your homebrew game with Bones Coffee by visiting bit.ly/RHPBones. That's bit.ly/RHPBONES.